where we go beyond the headlines. Now, the jailbreak in Nigeria on the 5th of July 2022 has been described by security analysts as the most significant for Nigeria. There's been a string of prison attacks since 2021. Last September, armed men attacked Kaba and Kogi prisons. In October of the same year, the Abolongo Custodial Center in Oyo was attacked, and again in November, there was another attack on the Medium Security Custodial Center. The latest attack on Kuje prison stands out because of several reasons. First, almost all detainees in the facility escaped, including Boko Haram members. Half of the detainees were recaptured, including one Boko Haram member. Secondly, Kuje is one of Nigeria's most secure prisons. At the time of the attack, the jail was guarded by soldiers, police, Civil Defense Corps, the State Security Service, and the prison's armed squad. So the Islamic State's West Africa province, ISWAP's success in attacking the prison shows that there was proper organization. ISWAP's main area of operation is Borno State, which is 800 kilometers from Abuja, where they carried out the attack. This also shows the organization's operational resources might be massive. Out of this latest attack, the biggest questions arising are militants in Nigeria adopting new tactics? Is Nigeria unable to contain violent extremists? And is ISWAP threatening counterterrorism efforts in West Africa? Now, Dr. Olole Ojawale is a security analyst for West and Central Africa at the Institute of Security Studies. Thank you for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Now, let's just start from the beginning. Security analysts have described the Kuje attack as the most significant security incident in Nigeria recently. Do you agree with this?
I agree 100% with that because you expect that by virtue of the positioning of Abuja as the federal capital territory, it ought to be the most secured city in Nigeria. Kuje prison is just less than, 1 hour drive from the presidential villa. You have all our security and military complex in Abuja, be it the air service, the military, the army, the navy, the Nigerian police force, the Nigerian security and civil defense force. All the security architecture are based in Abuja in terms of fortification and strong presence. So you would expect that this Islamic State of West African province that has claimed responsibility for the attack is making a strategic point.
So there's been a string of attacks since 2021, and now we see this latest one where almost all the inmates in the prison escaped. So would you say that the Islamic militants are now adopting a new tactic?
I think so, because, the greatest weapon in the hand of terrorists is propaganda, and to also instill fear in the heart of the people, and to exert their presence that, see, we are around the corner here. So the latest attack of Kuje prison obviously is a strategic attack to ensure that, one, they possibly get some of their members free, and then at the same time to show to the people that we can carry our attack anywhere in Nigeria if we can do it in Abuja.
Is Nigeria unable to contain violent extremism?
Obviously, by virtue of the repeated attacks, within the last 2 years, I know the statistics that you read out at the beginning is probably covering less than a year. We've had over a dozen terrorist attacks in prisons. So, and then when you now combine that with a plethora of security challenges going on in the country, and the possibility of collusion, because you've seen that ISWAP, Ansaru, Boko Haram, the bandits, the unknown gunmen, all over the places in Nigeria. I think the security architecture is largely overwhelmed. And if we are going to contain this, it behoves us, it behoves the government to carry out a large-scale security sector reform that places policing at the center of that.
When we look at the attacks, is this reflective of what is happening in the rest of West Africa? Is there a greater threat to counterterrorism efforts in West Africa?
There is a mega, not just a greater threat. A few days ago, I was just carrying out my own research, And I needed to see how illicit mining of mineral resources is taking place in the Central Sahel. So I stumbled on a map that shows the spread of armed group in West Africa. Nigeria is engulfed, and you can see that that is also scaling up to Togo, Ghana, which are coastal states. So I think it's a greater dimension of what is taking place in Africa, West Africa now, in terms of all over the places, whether it is Niger Republic, Burkina Faso, Mali, even coastal West African nations are not secured now. They are not safe as they used to be. So I think there is a bigger network, there's a bigger message that the terrorist group are trying to carry out, send across to the people, communicate to the global audience that fit into the bigger narrative that as these terrorist groups are being pushed away from Syria, from Middle East, from North Africa, I think they have suddenly found a safe haven in ungoverned spaces in West Africa. And obviously, because of the strategic positioning of Nigeria, it becomes the primary target in this regard.
All right, you called it a mega threat. So can we find a mega solution?
Of course, two ways to go about it is the number one thing that I think the ECOWAS need to put up their thinking cap now. West Africa is no longer what it used to be. When you look at the sequence of attack in the recent time, Togo has not been attacked before, it was attacked recently. Benin has not been attacked before, it has been attacked recently. Ghana is also suffering the same thing. Countries that were hitherto safe are becoming largely unsafe by the day. And then Nigeria also needs to provide leadership in this regard, being at the epicenter. So I think those two things need to work hand in hand. And I think the last thing is that more than ever before, we need so much of international cooperation support that we can get in this regard to get rid of this.
Dr. Ojawale, thank you so much for those insights. Very helpful indeed.
Thank you so much, too, for having me again.
All right.